These are real buyers that will show up. We write letters for those. We're very specific in the letters that we write. So let's say it's Nick Baldwin. I'm going to write up the letter and it's going to say, hey, Mr. Seller, I've got a husband and a wife, Nick and Ann, and they're looking for this single family residence. It's in your neighborhood.
We're going to give you the secret to 10x your listings. First, we're going to get the recording live to Facebook and YouTube, and then we will dive in, everybody.
Shh, don't tell anybody, Jesse. It's a secret.
It's going to be a good one. Should I whisper that? So this is the secret.
Can't tell everybody, just the people that are here.
The secret. This is the secret. Marcus, do your hand thing. Do your hand thing.
This is the secret.
This is the secret to 10x your listings. I can't say it quiet. I'm too excited. This is the secret to 10xing your listings. Marcus, I'm thrilled. Jonathan, we got the crew from StreetText here. With the market shifting and inventory low, we were trying to strategize and brainstorm on what do agents need right now. And Marcus, Jonathan are like, dude, let's just give the secret. How do we 10x our listings? So I'm Jesse Zagorski. I'll be the host today, but I'm going to stay out of the way and let these guys mainly do their thing. If you're on with us live on Zoom, and you have questions, please put it in the chat box as we go. The reason why we do this live is so you can actually act and interact. If you're watching this later on YouTube or on the Facebook group, we'll tag these guys in the post, drop your questions, and let's dive in. Marcus or Jonathan, where do we want to start on the secret here to 10xing your listings?
Why don't you kick it off, Marcus?
Oh man, I mean, first, number one, let's just begin with mindset, because it always begins there. And so if you want to 10x your listings, you got to understand that we're shifting into a market where inventory is low, interest rates are rising. So what do you got to be? Well, you got to be someone that serves and not sells. You got to be someone that educates, that comes from contribution and value. And that's going to begin to help you understand why you're going to be putting more of your marketing and advertising money into places where everybody is. How's that for a start, John? Next slide, please.
I think it's a fantastic start, Marcus. I was texting messages to Jonathan, but I was distracting him. But yes, I think it's a great start, Marcus.
So John, tell us about these 200 years of interest rates in the United States of America.
Well, this is really interesting, right? So this kind of shows us what the interest rate looks like over the last 200 years. And you can see since 2020, I mean, it's never been this low. So even with that bump of 0.25% we just saw this month, and then of course they look like they might be bumping it up again another 6 times, you're still going to be below the historically the lowest ever. And so what we know is that real estate was selling in the 1980s when we had the highest ever interest rate. Real estate was selling in 2008, it was selling in 2001, it was selling in 2016, selling in 2020. And so real estate's going to be okay. So interest rates are going to change. They're going to go up and they're going to go down, but real estate is going to be okay. So I just want to quickly, so Marcus, obviously, we all know and love Marcus. He's obviously head of StreetText Partners, featured on podcast, keynote speaker, you name it, digital expert. Myself, co-founder of StreetText, featured on all these places. Wonderful. And then StreetText, what is StreetText? We're a tool, over 125,000 ads have been launched on StreetText. More than 5 million leads have been generated by agents on StreetText, and we're a Facebook Meta partner.
Yeah,
on the ad tech side.
Stay there for a second, because so StreetText actually got started in 2009. Is that correct?
2010
as a textable sign writer. That's the name StreetText comes from. And then in 2014, we entered the Facebook lead gen space. You know, remember back in the day when Facebook would give you money if you did their ads, and it was up on the right-hand side of Facebook, like when it first got started. And during those days, by the way, it took us a half an hour or more just to create an ad and a funnel for people. And if that puts it in perspective, A funnel is how you capture the information. And our leads went to spreadsheets. Okay. Yeah. Fast forward to where we are today, and this is where the credibility comes in. 125,000 ads, 5 million leads generated all across North America. Okay. And so it first helps for you guys to frame in and understand. I always like to tell people, just simply bust out your phone app right now, like go to your Facebook app at this moment and click on your Facebook button. And what do we tend to do? First thing we do is look at the little red icon. Oh, I got a message. I got to check that, right? So we're going to go there. And then we're going to shift our eyes to notifications because, everybody likes to know who's commenting on our stuff. It makes us feel good inside. Okay. And then we're just going to start scrolling randomly. And in that scroll is where your opportunity begins. In that scroll, which is really entertainment for them, it is all about the psychological moment that shifts from a conscious, like a subconscious scroll, to this conscious decision to click. And if you consider that, go ahead and go to the next slide, John. All of you all obviously have this like, I need leads right now. I need leads. I need especially sellers. I need listings, right? Everybody wants listings. And we're going to tell you how to do that because everybody wants it, but move to the next slides.
Well, I think also putting that in context here. So in some markets where inventory is crazy low and the turnover rate is as high as it is, it's almost impossible to get in front of sellers before literally the listing goes on, the listing sells, it turns over in a week, multiple offers. And then in other markets where maybe things are kind of showing signs of slowing down a little bit, you need sellers, you need to get in front of them because obviously you want to get your sign writers out there. You want to get all your, you just want to create that widest net possible so that you become known as the agent of choice in the neighborhood of choice. And, yes. And it becomes this massive net because you're just basically, you're creating what it does is it's creating a loop of inventory. So the more people that see your signs, the more people that are inquiring about buying, the more people that you then meet who have a home to sell. And once you become a listing agent in a normalized market, it becomes incredibly powerful. But the challenge has become, with the turnover rate being the rate that it was, it's just getting in front of those home buyers has been harder than, or home sellers has been harder than ever. And Marcus, you can kind of talk a little bit about why, like the psychology, like why aren't people listing more? And if they are listing, what's holding them back?
Okay, that's a great question, because tying back to that Facebook newsfeed, if they're going to click on anything right now, and let's just say it's an ad that typically everybody wants to click on the seller side is because they want to know their value. But most importantly, they're going to want to know if they can sell right now, if they should sell right now, right? They have a lot of questions because a lot of people are starting to see that the market has slowed down, interest rates are climbing, and they're not selling as rapidly, at least on some parts of the states. Like if you look at the West Coast, is usually where the trend starts. So if that's their questions, then simply the opportunity for you to get there first and be the educator and be the expert is massive, because they're looking for someone to help guide them and educate them on if it is right now and if they should. And are you going to create that relationship with that person and learn how to serve them, even if that means they shouldn't put their house on the market in the moment? Right? Because that is who they're looking for right now, is for people that they can trust. And there isn't a model called the know, like, and trust model. And that begins with coming from value and learning how to ask the right questions, learning how to use, simply build rapport and ask subjective questions, not the obvious. Like, have you done any updates or renovations that I should be aware of? Right? Everybody asks that question. And that's why everybody sucks at lead conversion. Okay? You got to be different and unique, and we'll go into that a little bit further in there. But just remember, there's no better place. If you have the right ad image, and we're going to go into that in a little bit, you can find more leads and build a bigger database than you've ever thought was possible. But the people that really crush it are the people that learn actually to shift from that moment, because that problem is quickly resolved, into a moment of how do I follow up and how do I create a conversation of value.
So I jumped ahead a little bit too fast there on the slide, but Richard Branson, he knew a secret that led to his success, and he knew it at a very young age in his entrepreneurial career. And what's really, really interesting about it is he actually went and walked the streets of London, and he would count how many pedestrians were on the sidewalk. And the streets that had the most pedestrians, the most amount of foot traffic, that's where he opened his storefronts. And so it was literally the reason Virgin became so successful as it was, is he just chose the place that has the most traffic and made sure that his businesses were there. So Marcus, where's the place that has the most traffic today?
Facebook, man. It's Facebook and Instagram, and the deal is they're kind of one and the same. You know, and the demographic is proven. You know, listen, baby boomers, my dad and my mom, you know, Generation X, millennials, Y, everybody has a Facebook account. Every homeowner has a Facebook account, okay? And that's who you're wanting to be in front of, either homeowners or people that are looking to buy. And that's Facebook, that's Instagram. Yeah, there's this craze with TikTok and cool. Everybody should do something like that. But trust me, for building a database right now, for getting in front of people that are going to be your clients, like, you got to be on Facebook. And there's no,
you got to be where the homeowners are.
Yeah, they're there, and they're always on there. Whether it's not just for scrolling, for connection, they're there for groups. You know, we all know the power of groups. They're there for, you know,
marketplace.
Marketplace is massive. I'm always on marketplaces, and I've basically built my gym on marketplace. Okay, everybody's on Facebook because they know it's where community is formed. And what are we looking for more than anything right now in this disconnected world? Connection, community, right? That's where people go. You know, all the other stuff is fun, videos and so forth, but just remember that you're really there. If you look at underneath it all, you're really there to connect. And Facebook is where you want to connect. Messenger is an easy way to connect. Video, man, there's so many good things that we can go in. And I used to talk about Facebook being a CRM. That's a whole nother subject. But trust me, guys, all in on Facebook, you're going to see your best results for I think years to come.
And it's funny because Facebook, I think, has been listening to Marcus, because guess what they just acquired?
What?
A CRM.
Well, you know,
that's news. I bet you didn't even know that. That literally just got announced this week.
I'm sure, just like that movie, The Social Dilemma, they're tracking my every move.
So Meta conference, like, literally was just on. So we were on the Meta conference, and there's something really powerful. So 3.59 billion people are on Facebook's library of apps every single month. So that includes WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, Oculus, Facebook, Reels. 3.59 billion people. That's huge. That's a lot bigger number than I realized. 1 billion interactions a day. That's not a month, that's a day. And there's over 200 million businesses on Facebook. And get this is another mind-blowing stat. So a study was done. Where are people finding about new businesses? Where are they finding about new brands? Where are they getting the new products from? Is it Google search? We've all heard that. Well, it turns out no, 74% of people are finding it on Meta, one of the library of apps. And it's actually not just that, it's Instagram and Facebook. Those are the two places of discovery, and we'll get that in a little bit more going in there. I just want to share a quick story. So Miriam, she's an amazing agent. In 2020, she did 0 deals. In fact, when she started, she did 0 deals, not for 1 month, not for 2 months, not for 3 months, but for 8 months. Imagine that, 8 months of having to stick out. You're paying your fees, you're covering your costs. She's trying to run ads. She's trying to figure it out. She didn't know what to do. When she figured out her Facebook strategy, she went from 0 deals. And then this year in 2020, she just got or 2022, she got announced as one of the top agents in her brokerage. Amazing. She's right in the middle there. She's such a nice person. She got the kindest heart. And her story is even double whammy. She actually moved to the United States in 2014. And so she really she's really starting from scratch. And I think that work ethic, that grit, that perseverance took her through that first 8 months to get her to the point where she could find a strategy that made sense for her. And now it's just off to the races. It's very cool. So we're proud of her.
You should be proud of her. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And by the way, I mean, I've heard so many stories like that of people using StreetText but that is such a cool story to see someone going from 0 to just exploding their business.
Yeah. And like, what's really neat is, cause she'll often send us little like videos of like how she's doing and updates. And the thing that I noticed in every single one of the videos, she's always cheering and how happy she is for her client. She always says, she's like, I'm so excited for them. They sold their home. I'm so excited for them. They got the property they were looking for. I'm so excited they just listed. And so that genuine excitedness, her desire to serve, not sell, is like, she doesn't have to try. It's just there, and it's innate. It's ingrained in her. And so I think that's such a cool thing. So where is Facebook going? So this was the conference, and Mark was sharing business messaging. They want to do something really interesting. They want to bring all of the library of apps and actually pull it right into Messenger. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about what that's going to mean for real estate. But essentially, imagine kind of like fast forward yourself into the future and imagine a world where somebody meets you, they start a conversation, maybe they're looking for a listing or they're thinking about something, and they actually are able to go right into a VR experience of the home that you have for sale, like right within their messenger. They've never left the messenger. And then from within the messenger, after they're like, yeah, I love that, they can book an appointment right within their messenger. This is literally the vision that Mark is painting out. It's gonna transform how people are connecting with businesses in a totally new way. And not only that, they're bringing the business directory, think Yellow Pages, but to Messenger. So people search, like 74% of people are already being introduced to a business in a whole new way, but they're actually going to be pulled into search, into other ways. So no matter where you are, and the examples they gave are really cool. Like imagine if you're driving a vehicle, you run out of gas and you need to get a hold of your insurance. Well, your insurance can actually pop up right there in your messenger. You get it, you have the conversation, boom, you need to get an e-ride, all done. You didn't have to figure anything out. You're on your messenger app and it solves the whole problem. So it's really interesting. And then on the real estate side, I love the idea of connecting the whole VR world with everything else, because it's really interesting. They have a pretty grand vision of how they're going to bring all those apps together. And it blows you away when you realize, okay, 3 billion people using these tools every single month, 1 billion interactions a day, and how they can really connect a lot of things. But it all starts with ads. And this is really interesting, which is they know that you can have the greatest message set up, ready to go. You can try to get the conversation, but you're not going to meet anybody in your messenger. You need a way to introduce your business to people, and it starts with ads. So everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Instagram, and they're connecting. So Uber, the CEO of Uber was at the event, and he was saying that they're connecting with 30% new people that never took an Uber share ride before through Facebook. In other words, even Uber, one of the largest known brands in the world, is getting introduced to new customers in a way that they never had an opportunity before without Facebook. Isn't that blow your mind? 30%. They said for that size of brand, it's unreal. Normally their new customers is 1%, 2%. It's that's unreal. So it all starts with ads. So, but here's the thing, as Bob Dylan likes to say, the times they are changing. So what worked 12 months ago doesn't work anymore. And we can see that. So the learning algorithms change. So it used to be that it took 7 days to lock in your learning algorithm. You have 500 impressions, maybe you get 50 conversions. And then the audience that the Facebook ad was seeing, it was locked in. No longer is this the case. The learning phase never ends. Most people don't know about this, but they know that their ad's not working. They don't know why. This is why. So this is completely changing how you're tapping into audiences on Facebook. Another big thing, lead ads for home sellers. This is a broken experience, and there's 2 reasons for this. Number one, the obvious reason, you can't get an address on a lead ad. So how does Facebook know that the person that you even got is a homeowner? And not only that, so a person fills out the information, you don't have anything that you need to work with. But the bigger problem with lead ads is you don't have a memorable experience that's been created. And this is why when people are calling for home sellers, especially, they're like, I never clicked anything. Why are you reaching out to me? And so the actual experience is broken. So it's incumbent on us to make sure that we are actually doing a better job of introducing ourselves to people. So ads are incredible. It's an amazing opportunity to get in front of people. You can absolutely 10x your business within a very short period of time. But the experience that happens after there is really important. And how we actually generate those seller leads is really important. So what is working today? There's two things that's really cool is that are free, 100%. You can implement them right now. So number one, Facebook Live videos. You may not know this, but if you do a live video, make sure it's longer than 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is the magic mark. If your video is longer than 5 minutes, Facebook all of a sudden starts giving it new organic reach. And the reason for it most likely is that's when they start to put in the in-placement ads. And so Facebook's probably trying to prioritize longer video just so they can obviously get more ad revenue as a result. And then the second one, like Instagram Reels. If you're not already doing Instagram Reels, you need to be doing Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels are more organic and more viral than anything we've seen since 2014 on Facebook. Like, it's insane. The CPMs, we're seeing $3 CPMs on Facebook. That's crazy. Instagram Reels, and what's really cool about Instagram Reels going viral is that when you do an ad on Facebook and you do an all placements ad, they're going to pick the CPMs that are cheapest. And if Instagram Reels are the cheapest placements, your videos are going to get placed there and you're going to get better results for your ad, which is really powerful. So Instagram Reels, if you're not doing it, it's 100% free. You can do a video. It's jokingly, but Ira on our team, he's been doing a bunch of reels with his puppy. Those things have been blowing up. So bring in your puppy, make a video. But what's your but getting back to more of a paid strategy, what's your most valuable digital asset? I'd love to hear. What do you think your most valuable digital asset is today?
Put it in the chat. Let's hear it. What do you think? I want to hear your answer. What is it?
Do you mean you want people to say like their experience, the platform they use, like things like that?
What do they think? Yeah. What's the most valuable asset that they have online
right now?
Anyone? We got guesses?
Doop, doop.
I'm going to say my social security number.
That's
a good one.
Can I sell that? Does that count? All right. Jake says CRM and leads filled with it. No one said their Facebook profile yet, or the Facebook business page.
That's a good one, Jake. I think you're onto something.
Probably close.
A lot of people will say it's their website. A lot of people will say it's their brand. It is your list. And if you think about it, if you generate 500 to 1,000 home sellers, people that raise their hands that they own a home and that they will be selling in the future, just take your commission and multiply it by 500 to 1,000 people. How much value is in that list? It's kind of insane, but like it's an astonishing value, right? Like, it's the most valuable asset you have. But there's two mistakes that we see. Number one, people are overzealous. They haven't yet introduced themselves to their lead. They haven't created a relationship. They haven't created any form of connection, no trust, and they're texting them and they're calling them and they're over bombarding them. And so people are opting out and they're unsubscribing before they even had the opportunity to get to know them. They may have been really well intentioned. They just got a little overzealous, a little over eager. Or number two, they let it go cold. So they got somebody who's there, who's really real, who's excited, who's looking for an agent. They're like, I want to move this month, and it's crickets. They forgot to follow up. Or that person was ready 3 months from now, and they went and they followed up great for the first week, and they just didn't do anything. And so what's the point of spending all that money investing and building a list, the most valuable asset that you can ever have online, and then just let it go cold? It's a big one when you think about it. So what's the best strategy to get seller leads of your dreams? How can you have the Miriam story? How can you have for yourself?
I think I got this. All right. So it's the formula. Well, what's the formula to 10x your listings? It comes down to 4 principles. I like to call it the quadrant. Okay. And those 4 principles are as follows. Next slide, please. Ad creative, ad copy, split testing, and A/B testing. You don't need StreetText for this, guys. You can go and test this right now. If you have any marketing ability in Facebook, try it for yourself. I promise you'll get results. But you probably need to know there's 11 marketing objectives, so you probably need to start there. Plus, the Facebook ad, I would say this. The Facebook ad manager is likened to the labyrinth of frustration and confusion. It's always changing. People get frustrated all the time. It creates this like, I need a drink. I need a margarita type of experience, because listen, it sucks. It really sucks unless you really spend hours upon hours trying to figure it out. So try this, even with the lead ad. If you know what a lead ad is, start there, and I promise you it'll work. And then you'll start realizing there's other marketing objectives that might be more favorable for you, especially if you're looking for seller leads. Now, with that all being said, next slide. Add creative. Add creative, and this is for who, the gentleman in the chat feature that said, just get down to the meat. Here's your meat, okay? Add creative is 70% of that experience to unlock the lead generation. What do I mean by that? It's the picture itself. It's static. It's not a video. I know everybody's hyped up on video right now. Video is best for retargeting and remarketing, okay? StreetText is about to do that pretty well too. But the ad image itself has to be organic and native to the area that you live in. You have to understand 15 miles in the United States is a minimum targeting requirement. In Canada, that's called 25 kilometers. You have to understand the image you put into that specific target radius has to resonate with all of those people.
Let me just add like an example of why this is so important. Two examples actually. Number one, a listing ad, we tested out. The listing ad went live and we're getting about $10 leads. We changed we ran the split test, which Marks will get into. We brought that down to about a $3 lead. But then by working on the ad creative, we were able to bring it from a $3 to less than a $1 lead. Ad creative took it. Think about that. You could either get $10 lead or you could get a $1 lead. What would you rather get? If you're spending $100 on Facebook, would you rather have 10 opportunities or 100? It's crazy how much you can maximize your impact. Another example is that during 2020, Facebook did a study, they themselves, and they were looking at it and they realized that if you had a picture of your home in the background of your ad, like the inside of your home, your conversion rate on that ad went up 2.5x because people were looking for solutions that they could bring into their home because they had gone home. And so just a simple little change in your ad creative could get you a 2.5x result on the conversions. Isn't that like nuts? So creative you got to start with creative.
100%. And there's so many cool ways to do it. The images that you use, you can build on Canva. It doesn't have to be one static image. It could be a combination of 3 or 4 images. And we have so many amazing examples of that have just crushed it. But all right, next little slide here, because it looks like ads like this, you see it all too often, but it's the image itself. Like for example, the map. We've been using the map since 2015, and you'd say, well, isn't that outdated? Everybody's using it. Well, the thing is, no one's on Facebook today scrolling down to their feed and saying, someone's selling me with this map, unless maybe you're an agent and you've seen it before. As a consumer, as a homeowner, all you're connecting to is the area that you're living in. And you're like, oh, I'm whether you use Google Maps or your map feature on your phone, you're just so connected with that part of your life to get places. And you automatically see that 15-mile radius image is where you are. It's where you're located. And so you quickly resonate with that, and you don't even think twice about that image. You go straight to what the copy is saying, and the copy is saying, what's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. Complete sense. They're like, oh, that makes sense. Click. They don't even think twice about it. Okay.
Yeah, this is really good. I was gonna add on this, which is like, know this about ads. A winner is a winner is a winner. On Facebook, a winner is a winner is a winner. If you find a winning ad, that ad is going to keep winning. And what's crazy when you think about it, in the last 100 years, so much has changed. We literally gone from the automobile to SpaceX. Like a lot has changed, but guess what? What hasn't changed? Human nature has not changed. So the reasons for people making decisions that they make today, that's never changed. And so what things that work in marketing are going to keep working in marketing. And so the algorithm around Facebook is going to change. Things are going to move. Things update every single month. Literally like 1 month ago, TikTok changed the whole ad platform. Like stuff changes all the time. That's normal. We love that stuff. That gets us excited. But human nature is going to stay the same. And so know that as well when you're looking at ad creative. And so it's not about what's the most exciting, it's what's the most effective. And figure that out so you are getting the right ad in front of the right people Because what would you rather have? Is an ad that's like got 10 people who are kind of sort of interested, or would you rather have an ad that's got 100 people who are very interested?
Yeah.
I'd rather have 100 very interested.
And like where do you learn that? In the context of community, you learn that in the context of collaboration. Like for example, StreetText has Monday through Friday Zoom workshops where that's all we go over. And so you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. You either reviewing your ads because they're sucking, and then we're showing you how to actually build the best ads, or you're finding out new ways to make your ad get in front of the audience that you want to, and find the ad performance, which all comes down to how much you're spending and what's that cost per lead.
Yeah. And what happens is what we do is we aggregate that data. So we really believe that everyone's better off if we work together, and that there's more than enough for everyone. We like fundamentally believe this. It's why we go and we share everything we do. We truly believe you can't outgive. And the thing is when we run ads, we actually aggregate all that data so we can see exactly what's working today. So our community, by working together, we can say, okay, this ad is the best, most performing ad. And guess what? Everybody gets to win because of that, because they all get access to that ad. So it's like we're constantly on the back end creating, testing, running new stuff. And when we find a new winner, something that's like, oh my goodness, this is risen to the top, we share that right away. We let everybody know, because we want everybody to succeed. And ultimately, everybody can. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Awesome. And so once you figure out the ad creative, which stops the scroll, then you got to understand the byproduct of the ad creative is the ad copy. And the ad copy has got to be simple, easy, short, straight to the point call to actions. It's what surrounds the actual image itself, the text copy. And so, for example, what's your home really worth? And then the actual call to action is enter your address to receive your home value. That in itself is the epitome of this entire experience. Like boom, boom. Like image got me. All I got to do is enter my address to receive your home value. Done. I'll do that. And that's why that funnel to this day is producing anywhere from 60 to 70% of every click to give their address. And there's no one that touches that. I have not seen anybody in the entire industry, I don't care what industry you're in, be able to touch that type of click to contact conversion ratio. That means 6 to 7 out of 10 clicks are giving you their address. That means if you're giving Facebook $10 and you've got $1 cost per click, 6 to 7 of those are going to give you their address. You can't find a better return on investment anywhere in your entire life, especially on that database. So that's the key there. But how do you do that? That's going to be, we're going to show you shortly. You need a conversion objective to do that. You need a custom domain to do that. That domain itself is required because of the Apple iOS update that happened about a year ago. And that in itself is really hard to figure out unless you have someone like StreetText to just help you do it. But once you figure that out, it opens up the conversion pixel or the conversion objective, which allows you to dynamically capture information. We're going to show you that. But I just wanted to highlight that. Add image, add copy, and the next slide here, John. The split testing of these audiences is one of the most important and often missed and overlooked steps in this entire process to unleash the lead generation. Because once you've got your creative, once you've got your copy, then you need to let that split at least 3 audiences, which means I'm going to run this ad to this audience and let it go. I'm going to throw $10 on it, for example. I'm going to put that ad image, that ad copy, that 15-mile radius to this randomized sample that Facebook's going to throw out there into this 15 miles. This is going to be like a shotgun. Like, where does it go? I don't know. I don't know how they figure that out. But I'm going to do that same thing in a new audience. And that's my split test number 2. And then in a new audience, my split test number 3. And really, they feel like they're going out at the same time, but they're actually building each individually. And then what you're doing is you're comparing each one of those audiences. Because let's say I'm in Los Angeles, which is a massive market. And the algorithm picks up in Beverly Hills, 90210, right? And I'm like, yes, this is where I want to be. I'm going to be selling $5 million homes. Whereas this other ad subset algorithm picks up in Compton. I'm like, maybe Compton's changed a while, but maybe I don't want to be in Compton. Maybe I don't want to serve or sell in Compton. I will refer that out gladly. I might be getting more leads, but I gladly will take the relevancy score or the algorithm that's picking up in Beverly Hills. So by splitting these audiences, Facebook's going to show it to the audience that you prefer, and then you're going to make an educated decision as about early as 24 to 40 hours later to see which algorithm is the one that you want, based on the address submissions that are being picked up in the areas that you prefer, as well as the quality of information being captured, email information about their home, time frame for selling, and name and phone number and so forth. So that's the split test. If you really lock into this, and listen, you're not just going to figure this out, right? Like if you really locked into this, you would get lead generation unleashed overnight. But some people just have to learn how to learn, and you need to learn to come into a community context, to be taught, to help you kind of walk you step by step so that you can do this and reinforce this. And through repetition, you become a master, and then you start teaching others. All right, next slide here. So A/B testing would be simply any alteration to that ad subset. It could be the actual target audience, like you could shift your 15-mile radius anywhere and you've all suddenly A/B testing now. You could change out an image. You can go from a satellite to a terrain to a regular old map. That's now A/B testing. You still split test within each A/B test, by the way, because if I go and use a satellite map on one image, and then I go and I use a picture of the beautiful San Diego beach on the other, I just created an A/B test. I still need to split each one of those. So I'm going to take 3 of the beach photo, and I'm going to take 3 of the satellite photo, and I'm going to let them compete each other. That's the A/B test. But I'm split testing each one of those, again, for a period of time so I can see where the algorithm is picking up and which audience is resonating with this fastest. Anytime you change copy as well, you're A/B testing. Okay? Now, next slide. So Linnea is a perfect example of this. I love looking into her account because I just see her do one split test after another. She's always trying new things. She's a trendsetter, and she's so powerful, not on just the ad performance side, because she really learns how to lock into ad performance. What makes her so unique is her follow-up, okay? Because I can help you guys generate, and John here in our StreetText community can help you generate leads all day long for probably the lowest cost leads you'll ever find on social media. But where you're going to struggle is realizing that these are people not saying, come on over, I'm ready to sell my home today. These are people that you don't know yet. They thought they were getting something most likely automatically, and they had no idea there was a human behind it. So you have to change the way you approach them. Video is going to help you do that. Next slide. So for example, I just was randomly scrolling to Facebook. I saw this little ad. It said, what's your home really worth? Click. I saw the little area. It was this beautiful beach and home in San Diego, exactly the way I liked it. I was just connected with it. I gave you my address. I gave you my email. And then I go to my email thinking I'm going to get this like little thing that says your home is worth $795,000. I know. I'm just making it up. It's probably like $1 million plus in San Diego.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. But, and then here's this person talking to me. Now, this is it. This is the key moment. This is your first impression. Is it genuine? Is it authentic? Is it helping them understand why they're not getting an automated home value that's an algorithm? Yes, that's why you need to be there and present yourself as someone who's going to give them a world-class experience. It's going to help them understand what's happening in the market, why they can't trust Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, Redfin, Movado, or any other Google search that they put in their address comes out with some home value. You're there to present this information in a way that's relatable, that helps them be educated about the times they're in and how much their home is actually really worth in this market. Okay? Based on the improvement they made and everything else. And you're going to ask questions that are not necessarily the questions that everybody asks. Back in the beginning, I said, don't be that person who just simply lets an email go out and says, have you done any updates or renovations that I should be aware of? You got to be like Linnea here. And she even says, like I mentioned, AVM isn't only based on data, so it's misleading or incorrect. Your home value is unique, and it has its own story that an AVM cannot see. I mean, she even has the right text copy in there, and then her video, for people that click on it, reinforces all that. So there's a little bit of learning there on how to sandwich a video inside of text copy to get the open, to get the click play. And body language and tonality, by the way, guys, study shows, are majority of your communication. If you didn't have yourself there, chances are they would either delete that email, unsubscribe from it, or even worse, throw you some explicits because they thought they were getting something else. So you need to reframe your mind into this day and age that we're living in, video is no longer, in my mind, a option. It's a non-negotiable in your follow-up.
Yeah, it's how you're standing out and setting yourself apart from everything else. It's the best way to introduce yourself to someone new and say, hey, I'm real, I care. And it's a start of building that trust and creating that relationship. And in fact, a lot of people are using text message video, which is so incredibly powerful. And here's the secret that I'm seeing with people having crazy success with it versus the people that are having like okay success, is that if someone sends a video to you and you've never met them before and you never had any kind of conversation and they send it to you in a text message, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, surprised. That's weird, right? Don't do that. So the secret, what I'm noticing is that people, once they get a conversation going, what they'll do is they might be just sitting at the coffee shop and they film themselves for like real quick, like a 30-second video and be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. I wanted to share a little bit, like maybe I was just working on a client deal and I saw something that might be interesting to you with the market stats. They send that video then. So they've already got a text thread going with a person that they haven't yet met or had an appointment. And they said that changes the game because they get an appointment almost instantly. And when they do show up to the home, the person that they're meeting treats them like they've known them forever. And so it's a fast forward to building that relationship and building that trust when it's used at the right time. So video is a non-negotiable, absolutely. Put it in your emails, put it in your text messages, but use it in the right timing. And same with Lynette, she sends this on her 4th email.
Messenger too, like here's another thing. Going back to the whole Facebook as a CRM, when I was doing sales with StreetText, how I would connect with everybody, because I knew they were interested, just like this person's connected, interested in their home value. Now, a smart person knows that they can go find them on Facebook, because that's where their ads started. So they'll use Facebook as a CRM. You can search by area, and you can send a friend request and a Facebook message. So if you reinforce in your automations in the video email that you're going to do that, and I've seen people do this so well, that you want to connect with them, and why you want to connect with them, it's not weird anymore. It's you're creating that connection, and then you're going to throw it back in Messenger, and then that's a whole nother subject. We can create a discussion about leveraging Facebook as a CRM, because you actually, once they accept that message and that request, you can drop them into lists, and you can create lists on Facebook of your seller leads. Okay, and buckets where they're at in that seller transaction place. Are they just curious right now? Are they 3 to 6 months out? You'll start seeing, and you'll start liking their stuff, and they'll start liking yours, and that trust is being established a lot faster. They're getting to know you as a human being, not just a realtor. And that's the key, is those that can create that type of influence that is real, and they like you, and they get to know you and see that side of you. You're naturally going to find your tribe. Okay, and so that's key in that element. And we'll probably do another webinar discussion just on that.
Yeah. So this is really important. So conversion. So we talked about this a little bit. We talked about it, and we're going to show you what this means. So if you're looking for $3.49 seller leads, this literally, I screenshotted this morning. This is from Linnea's account. The key here is you need to be running a conversion campaign. And so the reason for that is the conversion fires at a place after a person's entered their home address. You now know that this person has a property. This is the address that they're looking at. Facebook can now identify people similar and like to them. This is really the most important process. If you're looking for home seller leads, you need to have it connected to a conversion campaign. You need to fire the pixel. You need to make sure, or connected to a campaign API, even better. The conversion API is even better, but make sure you have it set up at this point on the landing page after the submission is created. It's a game-changing setup to making sure that you're getting the right kind of seller leads. And it's once you have these things, like literally we painted out the formula. Like you follow this recipe, you will have crazy success with your ads on Facebook. It's really like it's everything you need is right here. So it's perfect.
Yeah, and it all comes down to, again, this is putting all together again. Ad creative, ad copy, split testing, A/B testing. You can try this right now, and I think you're going to get amazing results if you have any experience within the Facebook ad world. Now, you probably are going to be using a lead ad, and most likely that lead ad is going to be probably pulling into the buyer market, but buyers are sellers right now. The that's a whole nother discussion, because we can show you how to make and find out if that buyer is a seller at the moment. But you will definitely find that there will be anywhere from $1 leads or more on that approach. Sellers are going to be a little bit unique and different. I think if you are really interested in seller leads, do that free trial with StreetText. The trial itself, by the way, guys, is free, but your ad spend is not. Okay? And the only time you actually have to spend any money in that trial, if you want to test the seller leads, I do suggest you do the $50 upgrade so that you can unlock the domain. By unlocking the domain, that allows you now to use the conversion objective, which allows you to dynamically capture information, starting with the address itself. That, in my mind, is the most important trial experience you can have. You need that experience. We will make sure that you get 7 additional days from the moment you unlock that in this trial experience. So you can go in there right now, trial it out, use some of those lead ads if you'd like. But trust me when I say, let the guy that you're assigned to help set up that domain for you, so you can try the seller ads, especially if sellers are of importance to you. And I think everybody here is probably wanting seller leads. Okay, I'm guessing. So if you're one of those rare loving buyers type of thing, we'll also help you with that, because that's really easy for us too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So Jesse, I see you asked. So Dan, do you have a question?
Diana, I saw had her hand up in the box. So see if she had a question, type it in. Yeah, if anyone has questions, I mean, I'm just going to say while Diane's typing her question, what I love about you guys, you're talking about, the way, you want to, Linnea connects with her clients in a very authentic way. It's the same way you guys connect with your agents is very authentic. You show up, it's that support, it's the testing the ads, it's refining them, but you guys really are there for anyone using the platform. I've just seen it over and over how you guys pour into your clients also. It's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, I would suggest everybody too, like, come be a fly on the wall, like tomorrow, for example, we have a mastermind, and our masterminds every Wednesday are probably the one meeting a week that I would say most people say is the reason why they stay with StreetText, just like you're here. It's because you get to meet everybody in the community, but then they're sharing their wins, their strategies. We get to hear testimony after testimony after testimony of what happened once that ad was clicked on. What's their favorite integrations right now? What's their follow-up like? We do role play. We do everything. We dive into mindset. We dive into people who are struggling and help them get out of that rut, right? So it's all people coming together and sharing their experiences all over the map. And that one powerful meeting is everything. And same to go with our Facebook group. You get into this Facebook group, StreetText Insider, and you start realizing that people are just sharing. And you're like, wow, this is gold. Where do I even begin? Just take that one thing and begin there and implement that, and then that one thing dominoes.
Yes.
And other things, right? It's a
And
compound.
there's something, yeah, we see where, like, when you surround yourself with people who are sharing their success, you can't help but be infected by that momentum, and you start to find yourself having more success in those same areas in your own life and implementing things. And you start with the one thing, and you start to build the blocks towards your own outcomes. And it's amazing when you take your mind off of where you want to be and put it back, like, just to like get this thing, like the one thing implemented, because the vision isn't going anywhere. The vision is like the vision of where you want to be as far as like your future state. That's not going anywhere. That's kind of your direction. But when your focus goes onto, I'm just going to make sure I get the activity done today, guess what? You're moving yourself in the right place. Sergio, I think you asked how much money should we invest in our ads on average? I answered in the chat, but start with $9 a day. So I'm just sharing for anybody who's watching this live as well. Start with $9 a day on your budget, and then you can assess from there. So you might actually, this does happen, but be overwhelmed by the amount of leads you're generating. So you just feel free, just have it. Drop it in half. If you've got too many leads coming in and you can't handle that many, just drop it in half. If you're in a market like Orange County, super competitive, you might be looking at spending twice that. It's interesting. We've observed that generally whatever the Hollywood Hills area, Orange County, wherever the value of the property is going to be quite significantly higher, you'll probably find that there's more people competing in that market. Not only agents, just more people are competing for that buyer. So you'll have other marketers in that space trying to get in front of there. So you're going to see everything from Coca-Cola to furniture to you name it. And so your cost per acquisition there is going to be a little higher, but it tends to be fine because the ROI is really, really high on those leads anyways. So I'm talking like we're seeing an average of 15x ROI. So who wouldn't want to get $15 for every dollar they spend? It just makes sense, right? So it's such an opportunity of our lifetime. It's kind of like interest rates were 2 years ago. It's the opportunity of our lifetime. It's and we're sitting in it right now.
I know, I love that. I said 2020 was when it was the lowest, and that's when I bought my home here. So I was like, yes, the lowest it's been. Blessed. Awesome.
Guys, I just want to say thank you. This is incredible information as always. I think if you take those, like you said, Marcus, you can take those 4 quadrants you described, you can apply it to your marketing. You don't have to do it with StreetText. You can do it, period. But if you use the StreetText platform, it just makes it so much easier. It's the easy button. So Jonathan, Marcus, truly, this is an awesome webinar, guys. If people want to, Jake has dropped the link in the chat box multiple times, but if people need that link for how to start the free trial, it's in that chat box. It'll be in the YouTube links. It'll be in the on Facebook in the post. It'll be everywhere. They can click on that if they want to get started with you guys.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, 100%. Like if this benefited you, take it, run with it. And if you're interested in trying us out, we're here, but we want you to be successful irregardless. So take this, learn from this. This is for the community. And so go crush it.
Yeah. And here's the link to the mastermind. If anybody ever wants to come check out what the mastermind's all about, it's the experience. It's a come and see experience. Sometimes you just got to come and experience it. You can't just take it from us. You got to see it for yourself. We're telling you one thing, come and experience people actually closing and experience what they've done to make that closing from these leads. Because that's the key, is diving into actual experiences of people that are closing these leads will help reinforce why you need to be there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, everybody enjoy your day. I hope you got something out of this. I think it's incredible information. So Marcus, Jonathan, thank you guys. This is great.
Appreciate it, Jesse.
Have a great day. From LabCoatAgents, we'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.